A lot of controversy. It came over how we took care of my sister. Now, let me say that a lot of those things may or may not have been justified, right? A lot of people were in a high emotional state because for someone like her, nobody would ever expect for her to be going through the things that she was. Everybody loved her, and I understand it, man. Shout out to my people. I understand it. Uh, so it was it was a video that had surfaced, and they weren't sure if we had taken care of her properly because at one point she couldn't really eat anymore like that, and we kept giving her medication for pain, morphine, and giving her water and soup and stuff when we could. And from my sister's request, she wanted all of the lights off. Or from my sister's request, she didn't want a lot of music and things like that. She didn't want people hovering over her all the time. And some people they they really felt like that we were putting it down like a dog. You know, that was actually said, and it was really tough to hear that, man. It was hurtful, man. It was really hurtful, but we got through it, man. You got to forgive that stuff, man, because I know that, like, even though it was said or wasn't said or whatever the case may be, like, nobody meant that, man. Everybody wants to see her live, myself included. But I came prepared knowing that either my sister's gonna go to heaven or she's gonna be cured of this cancer, man. You know? And so I came out there, brought the Burberry out, brought the black bottoms out, man, the hard bottoms, brought all black everything out, because it was just my reality, unfortunately. So, but with that video that surfaced and those things that was said, my sister, she was dying of stage 4 cancer. She wasn't dying because she wasn't getting food, she wasn't getting water and things like that. The cancer was literally eating her body away. And and I know that everybody knows that, but it's hard to accept that, man. And I get it. I get it. I get it. So, man, during the funeral, man, uh, along with the controversy during the funeral, man, it was something else. And I'm not gonna talk a whole bunch on that, but I will say this: at one point, I'm not really sure what happened, but the shenanigans with the funeral and stuff like that, there was a private viewing that happened, and um, I didn't know about it. My siblings didn't know about it, and it was like, what's going on? So we had to deal with that. But that's neither here nor there, man. I mean, it happened, but I just thought that was some shenanigans, man. My sister, she was going to do my sister's hair and also her makeup at the funeral home. And it's like they were rushing her, like, oh, hurry up, hurry up. Oh, you got to be out at this time. And then they were doing a private viewing afterwards. And it's like, all right, so I'm here for this. This is my sister. And you're not going to tell me about that. So, rightfully so, people were upset. I will say that we have to be mindful of those types of things that we do, man, because those are things that might scar somebody or may lead to resentment and things like that. And me, I'm cool. I'm cool, right? I'm cool as a fan. I was told I'm just like my granddad. Like I'm cool, I forgive easy, all that good stuff. I'm just laid back, and so I you know what I'm saying. I get it. The obituary, though, I gotta say I'm not a big fan of the obituary. Now the design was very nice. Nice colors, all that good stuff. I like the font format. You know, it's not a lot of contrast with the text and the colors and stuff like that. That's cool. But um, the content in there, man, I gotta say I wasn't really digging it, man. Her name wasn't right. I'm gonna just say that. Um, I felt like a lot of that information in there, it wasn't all too accurate, man. A lot of things were missed, man. And if anybody ever got any questions about that, you can definitely ask me. But I wasn't a huge fan of the obituary, man. I'll be honest. That that we could have did a lot better with that, man. But it was nice. It did look nice, but I felt like we put on a show, man. I'd rather not put on a show. I'd rather tell things how it is, man. Right? So, but I'm not resenting anything. None of the family is really resenting that. But I'm just getting my thoughts out there on paper and in my diary, man. Changes came up with my personal life, man. So when I was younger, I used to be much more immature than I am now. And I've learned throughout life that for males, they really mature like about in their 30s, right? 34, 34, 32, 34. Some of them really mature, right? So I had made a bad mistake, and I had been making bad decisions for a while, man, and it caught up to me. I would say this, right? This is the only thing I would say with that, right? When it comes to your personal life, always be mindful of the things that you do, man, because although some things you may regret, it might be decisions that you make that you can't ever unchange and undo, man. All right, learn from me. Learn from me, man. Learn from me. I'm telling you, learn from me, man. Right? Learn from somebody who did a lot of foolish things throughout life. But what can you do about that? The only thing you can do is move forward. Right? Can't change the things I did in the past. But I bet you what, I can create a lot of things in the future. So just want you to know that, right? I forgot about the family feuds. Man, I mean, and it's not crazy. It's not like my family, like we got like some mafia family situation, but I mean, it's just little petty stuff here and there, man. But I forgot all about that. I've been away so long, I forgot all about that stuff, man. You know, uh, couple family members, and you can see it. Somebody, hey, see y'all later, family. Like, I'm like, oh man, you can't be doing that, man. You can't be doing that type of stuff, man. But one thing I'll say about the family feuds and stuff, I'll talk about two things, right? Because a good amount of my family, they are these people. Like, all right, so, you know, talk about Christians and stuff, right? And I ain't about to be on my high horse on my soapbox, right? But I looked it up, right? Christians, they're basically followers of Christ, right? So if you're a Christian and you're a follower of Christ, that means you do and you walk as Christ walked or Jesus Christ, right? So that means the bad attitudes and the bad ways you treat people. I mean, people be saying, "What would Jesus do?" Right? I mean, he probably wouldn't do that stuff. I'm just saying, right? But I don't know because I'm not at this present time like a regular church goer and stuff like that. I mean, I do pray and try to get myself right, but I'm not gonna sit there and judge, right? And then the next thing is forgiveness, right? That's something that's taught in the Bible and church and all that stuff. Forgiveness. If you don't forgive people, man, like my uncle, he put something on Facebook, man, and he was talking about forgiveness, right? Love him or hate him, he talking about forgiveness. He's talking about something that's right, and he received some slander and all this cool stuff, and I'm like, ah, man, that's terrible, man. But it's right, right? And if the words are right, it's right. It is what it is, man. So I'm not going to touch more on forgiveness. Only thing I would say is that you need to do it, man, right? Because it holds you back from so much stuff. And like I leave the rest of that to like TD Jakes, Kurt Franklin, Joel Osteen, or like the rest of the preachers out there that just they do their thing because I mean, who am I, right? I'm just saying though. So, but in closing, right? I'm at the end now. In closing, I just want to drop these few gems, and I want you to learn from me, right? Learn from somebody who did a lot of foolishness throughout their life, right? For years, I did this foolishness. Learn so you won't have to do the same foolishness, man. All right. So the first is work-life balance is important, man. All right. Join me this year as I go through the year and restore balance throughout my life. Right? You got to give yourself time. You got to give the job some time. You got to give your loved ones some time, man. You got to, man. It's very, very important. Work life balance is important, man. Now, friends and family, although they are friends and they are family, be prepared because they're going to make mistakes, man. Friends and family is not perfect, man. They make mistakes. You got to be prepared to forgive them and move on. Forgiveness. Forgiveness will make you free. You ever seen somebody that's just stuck? Like that's stuck in that same walk of life. Every time you see them, it's the same thing. They don't forgive somebody. And I don't care if they say it. They don't forgive somebody. Right? And when I say forgiveness will make you free, and I'm not talking about those people that say, "Oh, I forgive you, but I don't forget." Nah, they ain't forgiving. All right, stop that. Right, that's not forgiving at all, man. Right? Because think about it. If you forgive somebody, but you don't forget, right? You might have an opportunity in a situation where you can trust them so that you can grow and elevate. And then you say, well, remember when they did that? Hell no, I ain't helping them. And then you're not growing and stuff. So that's not really forgiveness. But when you forgive, you gotta let that stuff go, man. I know it's hard to do that. Trust me, I know it's hard to do that. But it's possible. I'll say that it's possible. Another thing is love with actions. So I call one of my loved ones on the phone and I say, "Hey, how you doing? I care for you. I love you. I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. Just making sure you're okay." And honestly, they responded back like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you don't love me, and you don't love your grandmother, and you don't love your sister because if so, you would have came to see them." And I was like, that was wild, man. It was really hurtful too because my sister just died, and you gonna say that? That's cold. And I turned up. I'm not gonna lie, I really did turn up. But when I simmered down, I really thought about that. And you do love with your deeds. You do love with the things you do. You love with your deeds, not just speech. So if you say you love your loved ones, you have to make every, every, every effort to show that as much as possible. And I do it, and I can even be honest and say I do it sometimes, but not all the time. But join me in getting better at that, all right? Because this is about personal and professional development. We're not perfect, but we don't have to stay here. We don't, all right? Another thing is reach out, visit your people. I said I'm going to do that, and I need you to help me out with that, right? Let me know what you're doing, right? Let me know what you're doing, how you're reaching out, how you're visiting your people out, what tips and tricks you got, if you have any, because they would be helpful. And I tell you, man, I want to learn from everybody because I'm that absorbing kind of guy as well, man, right? So iron sharpens iron. That's what they say, right? Yeah. All right. But reach out, visit your people, man. Let them know you love them. Don't blow it. Don't blow it before it's too late, man. Before it's too late, man. I have a question from my supporters, and I had a pretty deep conversation with this one. But they said, if you make a mistake or you do something to hurt your image, or you still do podcasts on professional and personal development, and I say, well, yes, of course, I'll still do the podcast, right? And I'm gonna do it because I do it for my family and my friends who I can't connect with on a daily basis. My kids also like watch that, you know. My kids watch everything. Let's be honest, right? My children watch this stuff, right? So also, this is a personal and professional development podcast. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes in life. We're gonna mess up our image here and there. It's gonna happen. And if you never did that, stand by because it's gonna happen. Trust me, right? As far as if people they should listen to me or not, man, I would say this, man. That's up to them. All right. The words of wisdom, even if they spoken from a stone cold fool, they still can help you out. All right. Now think about it, right? If a stone cold crackhead, I mean a stone cold crackhead, he come up to you, you know how the crackheads do, you know, and he tell you, uh, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but don't do drugs, don't smoke no crack, because if you do, you're gonna end up like me. And they dip. Hey, what you gonna say? Shut up, you a crackhead, and then go smoke crack? No, you're not gonna do that, right? So if it's good advice, it's good advice, man. It can help you out no matter who is telling it, man. Always remember that. You got to humble yourself sometimes, man. You have to. All right. But that's a good question. That's a good question. Real thought provoking question. Really had me really thinking about that stuff. So keep the feedback coming. Thank you. I appreciate that. Keep the questions coming. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate you. Thanks, Ron. All right. Thank you for everyone else that provided some good feedback and whatnot from my last video. Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Special shout out to Christian Malatab, man. He really made a dope design for the cultivation brand. He really hooked it up. It's real dope, man. Really dope, man. And I really look forward to showing off his work in my future episodes. Hopefully the next one or the one before that, man. But I want to get it out really soon because